moving on to the last session before lunch. I know everyone is eagerly waiting for that, but we have a quick fire chat round one, which is actually not a panel discussion. I would say the segment was kind of a candid segment. We would like to put it in that way, where we get a behind the scene kind of a thing, and without like stories beyond numbers. So for this, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Manish Baveja. He's the head Health Claims and Provider Management, ICICI Lombard Insurance. A brief about him: more than 2 decades of diverse experience in the insurance industry across functions including healthcare network management, health claims operations, fraud and abuse underwriting, risk management, and government rural insurance. So he is going to be in conversation with Dr. Nandini Ali. She is the Chief Marketing Officer, Apollo. And I would request ma'am to be on stage, please. Sir, please. Dr. Ali is a medical graduate with Masters in Hospital Management, 25 years of experience in the field of brand building, business development, marketing across the healthcare ecosystem from payer to provider. In her role as the Chief Marketing Officer, Dr. Nandini leads Apollo's marketing vision, overseeing brand strategy, corporate marketing, digital transformation, institutional business support, and customer relationship management. She is recognized for her exceptional impact on healthcare marketing, and including the Golden Globe Award, she has received the Best Relationship Builder Award. She's also been rated as A++ CMO, a testament to her strategic foresight and leadership in the healthcare industry. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much. I think he already said that we are just this session away from the lunch. So it is always difficult to be a part of a session before the lunch. I think you would agree to me, Dr. Nandini, and I think that will push us on time. I think whatever we have been allowed, more than that. So I think just quickly coming on to, and really nice to have you here along with me, because you have seen the provider side, you have seen the payer side as well. So it makes my job very easy to really get a candid kind of a response out of you. So that's what it is. And so we are discussing about why today insurance, health insurance particularly, is beyond a financial transaction alone. So it's not just a financial transaction anymore. That's what I think we all agree to. And what's a way forward on that? And what do you think is the current state of affair? And because we are talking to have a very candid discussion here, so what's the current state of affair, and where is the gap really today? So if you can just put some light on that.
Thank you so much. As Manish committed, we will keep the session like an appetizer before the lunch. We'll keep it very light on head and on the conversation also. And please feel free to raise up and ask anything that you think would be more prudent and pertinent for this session. From the time that insurance in India, the health insurance in India, was a single product, which was a Mediclaim, right? I think Shekhar sir was here, and some of the eminent public sector insurance company players, Madam Chella, they were all the creators of that unique Mediclaim policy. Even today, if you really look at many a times, irrespective of whatever you call your product by any of the insurance companies, the public perception and the agent will say Mediclaim hai. Right? That's the power that was created then. And that power has been fueled tremendously over a period of time. 2 decades have actually been spent in toiling by the insurance companies. Imagine an era where cashless was just a notion, right? Today, cashless is a norm. It's a huge travel that has happened between then and now. It has taken a lot of effort. I was part of the insurance fraternity up till the COVID, right? And I do understand, the kind of pains and the gains that insurance companies keep talking about, and vice versa now for over 6 years being in the provider setup. The challenges are very eminent. Penetration has been a problem for the insurance company. Bigger the risk pool, better the performance of the portfolio. Thanks to the government of India, that because of the social welfare schemes and the federal schemes that are being put out there, the Ayushman Bharats and PMJY and so on and so forth, at least people are now recognizing that insurance is going to become a fundamental tool for transaction at the time of any health episode. That awareness is actually by far there. But then what is pulling back the missing middle, those 500 million people, to actually vouch for it and go in for an insurance plan? There are certain barriers that we can speak about. Expectation setting is the biggest barrier, I think, right? Word of mouth is very, very strong in this particular category, right? If somebody in the family has gotten rejected on the claim, you can be assured that the social network that I have will all go out and out talking about how the adverse experience has impacted, how the family was shattered and so on and so forth, and how their premium was wasted, right? So some of these things are there, will be there, but collectively I think a lot of work has been done. In fact, as Shekhar sir was talking about, how the regulators have actually stipulated lot of norms. Lot of norms have been defined while you honor the policyholder's request. There has been ombudsman which has been very tight. The redressal mechanisms have actually become so sophisticated, yet there are complaints, and that's because of the expectation. If my claim doesn't get settled, I will grieve. I will make so much noise that everybody else thinks that taking an insurance was a mistake. So how do we actually together work in educating the customers? It has to be kept simple. I remember when we were part of Apollo Munich, we had our tagline initially called "Let's Stay Healthy," right? And 3 years into the business, we realized that the health insurance, the health as a subject and the health insurance as a subject, a category, was so complicated that people were wanting to look at things which were simple, easy to unburden themselves. That's when we just shifted the entire thing from let's stay healthy to let's uncomplicate. And it's so relevant even today. So some of these things, Manish, I think would help.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you rightly said that we have come a long way. And when there was a time of reimbursement, and today cashless is a norm. But I think just reflecting back, and I would put this as a responsibility to all the stakeholders who are there, who are helping in the overall healthcare delivery, that still we see customer is somewhere who's being not really looked upon. So in this forum also, we all are sitting as a payer and a provider, but at the end we all are customers also. And I think that perspective somewhere is still missing, because when I see insurance products, it's still complex. The insurance products are still not very simple to understand, even today. The paperwork, the out-of-pocket expenses when the patient is getting discharged, still we are not able to handle and address those things. We spoke about discharge process in the morning and so on and so forth. I think we can go on. 25 years, I've been there for almost 20 years into health insurance, but I think things have moved. Definitely they have moved, but still certain basics have to be still put in order, I would say, from a customer standpoint. So if I were to ask you, say building patient experience is one of the very important pillar in terms of when we talk about connected healthcare. So what comes to your mind that an insurer or a hospital can really do to build patient experience, or a fabulous patient experience?
See, the entire game is of expectation setting, educating them, right? And it is just not the sheer responsibility of somebody who's selling a product to them or a TPO who is servicing them, but it's equally on the provider setup also, right? From the time a policy is purchased till the time, the moment of truth for the customer is, at the time of claim. How do you actually translate? Experience is a very overly abused terminology today. People just talk about create an experience which is like far and beyond above, right? But customer is looking out for something which is very fundamental, very basic, right? Empathy is the word, right? If you were to look at building trust, not only in an organization or in a sector, right? As an apparatus, right? Empathy has to be overdone, I think, right? Empathy will build trust. Trust will actually build loyalty. Loyalty will build relationships. And that's what you guys all want. That's what we all want, right? We need people. And these kind of things have been already exercised. These are not nuanced tricks and techniques, We may be learning some part of it in this part of the globe, right? But world over, people have actually cracked the code by having the connected care, connected information dissemination, having the protocols which are, it's just not incidence-based episodic communication, right? How much of the, payers are actually indulging themselves beyond the discharge? It's not about, the payment of the pre-hospitalization, hospitalization and post-hospitalization claims. It's about continuum of care. How can payers and provider collaborate in an outcome-based, post-care management, right? That actually also will create an experience. Giving them cashless on time, treating them well, having somebody to have an empathetic way, tender love and care to deal with them at a situation when they are already overwhelmed, right? There are uncertainties. They must be just hearing about the medical condition for the first time, right? Processing those information, then looking at, the insurance formalities and what will come, what will not come, what will be the outcome of the procedure itself. There's so much overwhelming, so many things. How do you actually easen that out, right? So empathy will definitely play a big role there. Transparency of information. While we know the banks and the insurance sectors are known for the fine print and the asterisks and the disclaimers, they have to cover themselves, right? Because we are in a civic world, a legitimate legal system has to be prevailing there. Transparency is another act that needs to be over-popularized, I think.
Sure, definitely. So when we look at other pillars in terms of, because we are talking about a connected healthcare, ecosystem integration becomes a very imperative part of it. And how do really we bring the data sharing, interoperability, access to data with no compromise on the PII, etc. How do we make that really working for us? Because a lot of regulation, a lot of apprehensions are there within the mindset of the people and the organizations also within. Even when I talk about provider and payers, not enough data with that much of a transparency is being shared. Is a customer really telling me at the time of onboarding whether his health condition is this? And not just giving a policy or underwriting a policy at that point in time, maybe it will help me in terms of managing his overall health better over a period of time. So is that level of education, that transparency with data sharing, data interoperability, etc., is there in place? And what is your comment on that? How do you see that going and shaping up? Because without data and without digital health, I don't think the connected healthcare is possible for us, what we are envisaging for.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. See, lot is a small word. Abundant work has happened, right? But unfortunately, these works have happened in isolation, in fragmentation, right? For a hospital like us, and there are different layers of providers, different types of providers, people who can actually support themselves with such a sophisticated technology to, back their operations and their clinical outcomes and so on and so forth. But I think what is very, very pivotal to this whole thing is how is the entire digital health infrastructure getting shaped up for the country at the national level, right? There are a lot of movement that we find that Government of India through Ayushman Bharat, the digital initiative that they have, those 500 million people given unique health ID, these are good steps that have been initiated. But long way to go. Apart from the digital infra being ready, I think there has to be a robustness of the governance model, which has to be a collaborative one between the payers, providers, the patient advocates, the policyholders advocates, the regulator. Everybody has to come together to look at how these infras are going to be put to use, right? And not to a maluse. From data standardization formats, still we'll find, at least 60 to 65% of the provider setup which are there in the network of most of the insurance companies, they don't follow standard clinical data formats, right? There has to be a unified data format if the company has to actually converge into that single interoperability of data. There is interoperability currently existing among the insurance companies by virtue of your portability and so on and so forth. But is that enough? Is it understood as, and how much of the clinical outcome interoperability information is available for you to do a good claim adjudication, right? Absolutely. So long way to go, but I think good progress has been made in isolation. Your national claim exchange that Mr. Shekhar was talking about in the morning, right? But you also have to see how is the user friendliness, usability of it, without compromising, because we are under a complete scrutiny when it comes to the patient information, right? The data privacy, the medical legal implications are far and huge. So to tread into that, I think there has to be a collective effort that needs to be done.
Definitely, I agree. And I'm reminded of the time, so I'll rush my next question quickly. So I think when we talk about connected healthcare, again, what comes to my mind is in terms of how we move from a protection-based approach to the prevention kind of a thing for a customer, for a patient at the end. I think that's what we really mean by a connected healthcare, so that we manage his health in long run and not just managing an episode of hospitalization for him or her in the society. So what's your views on that, and how can that be integrated with the insurance piece overall?
See, globally, I'm sure all of you are very well-learned people from the insurance background, and you must have studied this significantly. The phenomena of prevention better than cure may sound very cliched though, but it is so relevant and more relevant in today's era, the era where we are having the tsunami of non-communicable diseases. You can't ignore the fact that you will have to have preventive care model embedded in the insurance plans. Ignoring that is going to be very, very, very adverse in the mid to long term run, right? There are models which have proved, I was just reading one of the article which said that one of the insurance company, when they actually adopted the prevention as a part of the program management, they saw over a period of 5 years, they saw incidents coming down by 15%, the claim incidents coming down by 15%, and the customer retention going up by 20%. It's a big number for a country like ours. If you are able to do that, I think it's definitely going to deburden the payer, the provider, and everybody else. Most of you from the insurance company do have a feature called health check as a complimentary benefit for 3 claim free year or 2 claim free year and restricted to some age band and some insured band. Please start thinking about this. If you can have a low cost health check embedded as a part of your plan, right, and make it mandatory, what will it do? It will help identify, do early detection, stratify the risk, and you will be able to actually do a good collaborative program management with the wellness companies and the healthcare providers, right? From a casual conversation on counseling to a complex clinical intervention. So I think the way to go, and it's going to be crucial for the insurance companies at the rate the cost inflation happens, the rate at which lot of negativity percolates down in the masses on the escalating premium prices and so on and so forth. You will have to have a mid to long term view, embedding and actually embracing prevention as a part of your program.
Sure, definitely. So I think the last thing, although I've been stopped for that, but I don't think it will complete, the discussion will complete without that. I must ask for it, that because when we talk about connected healthcare delivery, there has to be a collective accountability also. And how do we really, and what's the role of a private players and the government there? How do you see that evolving? Because ultimately, if there is no accountability, there is I think there has to be a skin in the game for every stakeholder when we are talking about connected healthcare. How do we really define that? How we bring that to shape? I think that's what is something which is really missing today.
No, it's very essential, to be honest with you. Without this collaboration, I don't think that, you know, I do recollect one of the recent interactions that we had with the chairman IRDA, and we were the, you know, the provider party, and we did have a few representatives from the insurance companies, and we had our own, you know, priorities to discuss with him. The only thing that he said that, guys, put up your acts together. This is going to be a, not now, for future also, it's going to be a symbiotic association that you will have to look up to, right? If you are working as fragment in non-integration, in silos, the healthcare ecosystem, which is, you know, largely driven by the payers and the providers, will have a disbalance. Bring about that balance, and that balance can happen only if we have, as somebody was talking about, you know, frequent, I think Dr. Ghosh was talking about the frequent conversation and communication at a different stakeholders level. I think that will be very, very critical. Collective power, wisdom of what the patient needs, right? At the end of the day, patient needs a proper care, which has got a predictable outcome at a price point which is affordable for him, be it from the insurance company or be it from the payer, right? And today, high degree of personalization is something which is expected, right? So how do all these stakeholders come together and have conversations and programs around these, right? This actually will help propel the sector, have a better so-called experience for the, you know, policyholders, the patient and the caregiver.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Nandini. I have many questions if I were to go on and on this. But I think with the paucity of time, I would like to just summarize what transpires out of what you have kind of commented in your 4 fine responses. So one is definitely we are talking about transparency. Transparency over the fine print that is there. Then prevention, of course, is over payout. We are not focusing only on payout when we have to make this happen. So we are talking about prevention more. Data sharing becomes a very, very critical element in terms of when we want to deliver integrated, connected healthcare. I think without that, it's no way forward. And outcome-led healthcare again. So we are not only talking about numbers, the procedures, the treatments being done, but we are talking about outcomes. What's happening to the patient and with respect to readmissions, etc., and so on and so forth. And definitely it can't be an isolated game for any stakeholder. It has to be a partnership wherein everyone is responsible equally and there is a collective accountability for all the stakeholders. I think that's the takeaway. I think I would say these are some of the points that's an actionable for all of us as an industry, I would say.
And I think it will also be important to shift the conversation between the payer and a provider beyond price, contract, right? And take it to a value-based, outcome-based conversation where you have
absolutely
you have the KPIs for the performance like readmission rate, right? Usage of antibiotic rates, right? Reopening rates, right? Beyond just the common patient satisfaction indexes, right? And take the conversation out from there, because all of this is actually centered around what best can be done for the person who is actually in the need, because we are in the business of healing and you are in the business of caring.
Absolutely. I think that was the reason payer and provider sitting across, and I didn't ask for the question of price. So I didn't touch upon that, and because that's already a kind of a debate that keeps on going. So thank you so much, Dr. Nandini, and thank you everyone for being patient and listening to the views. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just before lunch, we'll just take 2 more minutes. I request the co-chairperson, Shayantan Chatterjee, sir, to kindly come on stage and felicitate both ma'am and sir. Thank you so much. Lunch is being served at 3rd floor in the Bengal Lounge. Both the elevators can be used. We hope to see you back at 3 o'clock. Thank you.